Hi there, today we're going to be looking at the latest Kenny Veach M-Cave news article. Read it, analyse it, see what it's all about. For those that are currently hearing this live premiere, share your thoughts and reactions in the live chat box on the right hand side of the screen, and anyone else in general, leave all your thoughts down below under this video in the comment section. You'll also find a pinned comment by me if you want to support this channel. If you want to catch up on recent videos, top right corner of the screen where the I symbol is, click on that, you'll be able to catch up there. And I do advise you to catch up on the last Kenny Veach video that I did, because it was very strange and interesting, and it would be of your interest too if you do follow my channel or this type of case. So top right corner of the screen, you click on that, you will learn about a giant strange symbol caught on satellite imagery not far from where Kenny Veach supposedly went missing. So make sure to check that out when you do have time. Though right now, we need to focus on this latest news article, and that's what I'm going to do today. See if I can highlight any information I've never seen before. If there's any deep research done into the case, whether it incorporates my research and coverage too, if I'm credited, or they've done their own thing. And of course, if there is misinformation, I'll do my best to clear up the BS, because as we know with past articles, they're not always that great. Though recently, at least the last one, what we looked at was a lot better because it gave quotes from what Kenny Veach said. And the reason why that's somewhat sacred and important is because Kenny Veach's original comments were deleted from YouTube, which is extremely odd. Very strange, trying to silence him, somebody out there from the looks of it. But because these news articles in the past, some doing their research, it does help people in the future, or when you're looking back at important information, which can be harder to come by. So we'll see if this new article matches up with the last one that I read out. Without further ado, let's get straight into it. The title of the latest article reads, "The Chilling Story of How Kenny Veach Disappeared Whilst Looking for a Mysterious Vibrating Cave Near Area 51. This article by Rivi Leon and published around the 11th of March 2024. Now, that could seem a few months old, but as I said, not many articles come by in the name of Kenny Veach. Okay? First of all, what's the title like, in my opinion? It's very similar to what we've seen in the past, right? Maybe a few words changed about chilling story. I guess you can consider it chilling and kind of creepy when you put everything into perspective. Disappeared whilst searching for the cave, supposedly, yes. Vibrating, yes. Near Area 51, no, not really. But depending if you're an American, maybe you would understand it. But for most people outside of the US, to say it's Area 51 would be incorrect, right? We can say near Nellis bombing range, test range, near military land. That would make more sense. Area 51 is many miles away, north or so. One thing I do find very interesting with most of these articles, okay, they mention Kenny Veach's name, keywords, but they don't call it the M cave. They just call it a cave, a mysterious cave, a vibrating cave. Why not M cave? That is literally the key line within this case, which goes side by side with Kenny. It's odd, isn't it? There's a photo of Kenny from the past. I believe it's from his, well, it says YouTube Snakebit McGee, though that caption doesn't match this photo because this photo is from his Facebook profile. Nevertheless, let's see how it reads here. So it looks like it begins with the backstory of his disappearance. On November 10th, 2014, a 47-year-old solo hiker and YouTuber named Kenny Veach disappeared whilst hiking in the Mojave Desert, and he hasn't been seen since. Right, here we go. Looks like this article by Rivi Leon, they failed to do their research immediately because they're just literally stating Kenny hasn't been seen since. Yet there is evidence, there is material to suggest he's been seen since, such as the 2018 CCTV footage. And if that's not good enough for people, in terms of last heard from, in a way, would be the missed call by Kenny Veach in 2022, November time, roughly, coming up to, I think, his birthday. So I've covered that on my channel, of course, and extensively, but clearly this article who's done research on this case, they haven't, because they didn't look at the evidence and material to suggest he's still alive. So that's already a disappointing start, if I be honest with you, okay? It's quite a basic backstory by saying November 10th. You never see any of the articles talk about how Kenny Veach was hanging out with his ex-girlfriend Sharon Pilgrim the night before when they went to the movie theatre. All that's officially mentioned and stated in the official police report. That as well is available and documented on my channel. Okay? Now, let's move on. Kenny Veach had been searching for a strange vibrating cave shaped like the letter M. He'd stumbled upon earlier that year, not far from Area 51. Today, no one knows what might have happened to him, but his disappearance has sparked a number of bone-chilling conspiracy theories over the years. Once again, this article jumping to conspiracies. You can have a theory, you can have a conspiracy theory. These are ideas, some maybe more crazier than others. A couple outside of the box, some very basic, okay, and common sense used. It doesn't always have to be a conspiracy. What tends to happen is these media news outlets and articles and amateur journalists will use the words conspiracy to make people appear as crazy, to discredit them, and throw the general public off from taking it serious. Manipulative tactics. Very pathetic. Okay? What else is there to be acknowledged? Well, it mentions not far from Area 51, a cave he stumbled upon earlier that year. He didn't directly say when he came across the cave, did he? He didn't say in 2014, this is when I came across it, on this month, on this day. No. We're assuming that it's in 2014 because of when his comments were posted, right? And how it all ties in together. He didn't give a direct date. So this person is kind of jumping to conclusions, kind of assuming, presuming. To say not far from Area 51 is bollocks because Area 51, the base, is I think 50 miles away from where Kenny was hiking. So that's irrelevant. Now, if you used to say that Kenny came across a cave near Area 51 or military land, even that is very vague because if you're actually quoting what Kenny Veach said in his original comment, Kenny clearly said he came across the cave near Nellis Air Force Base, right? Which is east of Las Vegas, on the outskirts, closer to Frenchman Mountains. You don't see any of the articles mention that though, do you? Being specific. And, you know, some Americans will say, yeah, but that's not what they're getting at. But you should know by now, you should know the drill and my reasoning. If you don't, rewind back to my past videos, okay? Goes on about saying, no one knows what might have happened to him. A level of uncertainty wording there. So there's a contradiction here. This article is stating that no one knows what happened to him. But to say what might have happened to him would suggest, you know, we don't actually know what's happened, but at the same time, specifically, kind of uncertain. There's a form of confidence used in saying no one knows, but then by saying might have happened is kind of up in the air for debate. And yet there are humans out there that know he's alive, that are strongly in agreement that they know what's happened to him, such as the sister-in-law, Susan Veach, okay? When it comes to me, I'm leaning towards the side that he's still alive or was alive up to a certain point because of the material I've come across with time. This article is grouping everyone together as if we're all in the same boat, but that's bollocks. We're not. Some of us know more than others. This article, this person that wrote it up, clearly is lacking, okay? Then it goes on to say, but his disappearance has sparked a number of bone-chilling Some, others not. Kenny Veach, passionate adventurer and inventor. That's true. That's probably the one thing that this article has done right so far by describing Kenny. It goes on to say, born in 1967 in Las Vegas, Kenny Veach was an avid hiker known for his YouTube channel Snakebit McGee. No. Bollocks. Kenny Veach wasn't a known YouTuber. He didn't have a well-renowned channel back then. It was only when he disappeared he became popular, okay? When he went missing, after previously telling his initial story, an encounter. By linking one thing with another, oh, there is a hiker. He's documented one of his hikes. He's talking about a cave. He's going back out there, never seen again. Oh, maybe because he found the cave. Maybe someone got to him. And then it opens up the mysteries and possibilities. And some people in the background assuming that the footage on Kenny's channel is his final hike and not making it back home and he went missing. But that's a load of bollocks too, because that was in October. Kenny made it back safe. When he went missing, when he went on his supposed final hike, was in November, right? So there's a bit of confusion out there. That's just because people don't bother listening. But that's the general public for you, strangers, outsiders. It's problematic. But to say Kenny Veach's channel was well known, that's a load of rubbish. He had a small channel, he had a small following back in the day. Once he went missing, that's when people started coming in, showing their sympathy and others fake sympathy and others playing the blame game by blaming audience members beforehand for pushing him out there when clearly Kenny was a passionate hiker and would probably go out regardless of whether he was doubted or not by people. Okay? Now, it says, on this channel, he documented his days-long solo expeditions through the deserts of Nevada and California. Is that so? Highlighting his love for adrenaline-fueled adventures, during these hikes he often collected items like animal bones and other curiosities which he used to decorate his house. So, you know, when you look at Kenny Veach's channel, there's only one hike video available. But how it's worded here by this news article, this article in general, it's claiming as if he's been on multiple hikes and he's uploaded multiple hike videos, including hikes in Nevada and California. But that doesn't seem to add up. And whereas we could just jump to the conclusion and say, well, this is a load of BS, from my own experience of what I have witnessed and what other people have witnessed in the past, Kenny Veach supposedly did have other hike videos on his channel. Obviously, one of which being his October hike when looking for the M Cave. But the rest of his videos of hikes, I can't remember where they were or what they were about, but there were other hike videos on his channel. Though with time, they disappeared. Were they deleted or privatized? One or the other, it meant the general public could no longer view them. Isn't that strange, right? Why would you keep, whether it be Kenny's choice, a family member, or somebody else hacking in, why would they decide to delete or hide all the lesser important hike videos if they've got nothing to do with the M Cave mystery and the disappearance of Kenny, but leave that one video up? Seems a bit weird. You might as well just leave it all up or hide and censor the M Cave video. So it's like removing one's trace, if that's what the motive was in the background. So the same like Kenny Veach did hike in California. So is that the location of where his videos were on his channel then, the deleted ones? I wonder. I want to know your thoughts in the chat. This is the second time now we've seen an article that highlights Kenny Veach had multiple hike videos on his channel. And it just so happens that some of us have actually witnessed it in the past. So that kind of reinforces it there. Now, it goes on to say, shortly before his disappearance, Kenny Veach had reportedly left his job as a coffee company service technician to try his luck at becoming an inventor. During this time, he created what he claimed to be an improved version of a toilet paper holder and submitted his inventions to the show Shark Tank via YouTube. And all of his videos, which was 3 to 4 of them, were all uploaded on the same day in October. But his hike video was uploaded on a different day before that. So just as a reference there. I do believe an article previously mentioned that whilst Kenny Veach was trying to seek a new opportunity as being an inventor and be acknowledged, seen by Shark Tank with his submission, because it was done via YouTube, the Shark Tank submission program didn't include YouTube submissions, like videos being uploaded there. You'd have to upload your videos or ideas directly to Shark Tank. So maybe Kenny Veach was unaware of that, but you know, he tried, he used his mind, creativity, though it didn't work out. He also attempted to sell his house, but with an unusual condition. The buyer had to hire him as a caretaker and agreed to let him continue to decorate the home in his own style. Unfortunately, no one took him up on the offer. And to be honest, I can understand why no one would, because they see it as a little bit odd and unusual. I get that. People want their own personal space. They don't want to move in with an ex-homeowner from that place. Now, it says, but Veach's true passion was solo hiking in the Mojave and Great Basin deserts. He'd camp for days and with just the basics, no GPS compass or map. Occasionally, his girlfriend Sharon Pilgrim joined him on his adventures, but much of the time he hiked alone. Wow, this article has actually worded it correctly. They've done something right compared to the other ones in the past. Older articles, what we looked at, claimed that wherever Kenny Veach hiked, his girlfriend followed, or ex-girlfriend Sharon Pilgrim, which is obviously incorrect because of the 19-year age gap, Sharon Pilgrim being 19 years older than Kenny Veach. So when Kenny Veach was 47, Sharon Pilgrim was 19 years older, past that point getting into the 70s. I think that applies more so now. So you get the idea, okay? But this article here, where it mentions it, is mostly accurate, that Kenny did make it harder for himself. He did use the basics. He made it harder on himself as a challenge at times to see how far he could go and push it without relying on other items, resources, and sometimes hanging out with Sharon with the hikes. So that's fine there. Now it says, eventually, one of these adventures went horribly wrong. So the way it's worded here, one of his adventures went horribly wrong. That would sound like it's out of Kenny Veach's control. Something bad happened to him out of his control. An accident, an ambush, an attack by an animal or person. The way it's worded here, I hope lower down it does not go on about the suicide bandwagon. Because if it does, it will go against what's mentioned here and will be a complete contradiction. Okay? Title, The Encounter with the M Cave. In June 2014, Kenny Veach took to the comments section of a video titled Son of an Area 51 Technician to relay a chilling story. In his post, he described a hidden cave he had found near Nellis Air Force Base, just south of the infamous Area 51, with an entrance shaped like a perfect capital M. As soon as he entered the cave, he claimed he felt unusual vibrations throughout his body, coupled with an indescribable fear. Right, so this article has acknowledged and requoted what Kenny had to say. That he had found and described this hidden cave near to Nellis Air Force Base. Nellis Air Force Base, south of the infamous Area 51. Right? So, is that correct? South? Yes, that's correct. So, if it's worded here that the cave is near Nellis Air Force Base, and this article is acknowledging that Nellis Air Force Base is further away from Area 51, then why is the title of this damn article, get off the screen, you bitch, why is the title here claiming the cave to be near Area 51 when it's quoted down below? How silly. How silly. Major contradictions. Not a good look. Nevertheless, let's move on. As soon as he entered the cave, claimed he felt unusual vibrations. Now, did he enter the cave literally? Well, he got to the tip of it. He didn't go that far in, because if he did, he would have had more to say. This is a photo, screenshot from his hike video on his YouTube channel, The October Hike. Now, quote-wise, we've seen this before. I always enter every cave I find, but as I began to enter this particular one, whole body began to vibrate. Closer I got to the entrance, the worse vibrations became. Suddenly, I became very scared and hightailed out of there. That was one of the strangest things that ever happened to me. Do you see how it mentions it? The closer I got to the entrance, not I went into it. I walked through the entrance and then I felt vibrations. It was the closer I got to the opening. So he was still on the outside when he felt the vibrations. Yet how it's mentioned up here is as soon as he entered the cave. He did not enter the cave, you plonker. My goodness, what's going on here? Nevertheless, move on. He added, I solo hike across mountaintops that most people wouldn't dare go. I've been in more caves than I can count. I play with rattlesnakes for fun, but this one particular cave was beyond anything I've ever encountered. The search for the cave begins. After Kenny Veach posted about his chilling experience, a number of YouTube users responded with interest, encouraging him to return to the cave, document the hike, and provide evidence of his strange discovery. So in October 2014, armed with a 9mm handgun, Kenny Veach attempted to find the M Cave again. However, in a video titled M Cave Hike posted on October 18th, he admitted that he was unable to relocate the site. And Kenny did mention that twice on his hike, going down Picture Canyon by saying, and I didn't find that funny little cave. That's what he said. And then in his unreleased hike footage, which was uploaded on the girlfriend's channel many years later in 2021, odd timing, a part of the same hike, part of the same day in October, going out there, the unreleased footage where Kenny talked about saying, oh, I didn't find the cave. He looked disappointed, he looked deflated. And he said, it's out there. Yeah, he didn't find it. Now, goes on to say, I found a tarantula, a tortoise, and a ram, but I could not find the cave, he wrote on social media. Disappointed YouTube users flooded the comment section, criticising Veach for not proving his original claim. Many of them pushed Veach to go on another journey to find the M Cave. But one comment in particular stood out. Let me kill mister, which I think it fails to mention once again. It gives the quote, but it does not give the name of the YouTube user. How weird is that? And it reads, no, do not go back there. The user wrote, if you find that cave entrance, don't go in. You won't get out. That was Lemmy Killmister. That was the name of the YouTube channel that left that comment. Likely a prank gone wrong. And then it caused suspicion and mystery. Unfortunately, Kenny Veach didn't heed this ominous warning. On November 10th, Kenny Veach embarked once again on a desert hike to Sheep Mountains, telling his loved ones he planned to return the next day. He never did. Kenny Veach didn't embark to Sheep Mountains. He wasn't going up mountains. Kenny Veach embarked near to the likes of Sheep Peak and the mountains, but primarily focused on going up Little Jome Canyon. This is a key canyon, a key name, which is mentioned on maps, and yet none of these articles ever mention the likes of Wild Horse Pass, or some of them don't mention Picture Canyon, and most don't mention Little Jome Canyon. Come on. It's there, publicly viewable. Now, Kenny Veach's disappearance and the rescue efforts to find him. When Kenny Veach didn't return from his overnight hike, his girlfriend Sharon Pilgrim reported him missing. But obviously this article fails to mention that the girlfriend reported him missing 7 to 8 days later, right? You've gone out there hiking, you said you'll be 1 to 2 days out there. The next day you don't hear from him, and then what passes by 7 to 8 days, and then you think, oh, 7 to 8 days? Well, he's been out there long enough. I think I'll report him missing now. The chances of survival in that state drop dramatically, right? In November 2014, the search for Veach began. Yes, at a slow pace at first. It was November 22nd when an actual search and rescue crew went out there, right? Kenny went missing on November 10th. Search and rescue went out 22nd of November. That's quite some time in between, isn't it? If you're stranded in the desert, you expect to survive out there for 10 plus days. I don't think so. In the days following his disappearance, search and rescue, days, more than days, well, it a bollocks that is. The search and rescue explored an abandoned vertical mineshaft that had been featured in one of Veach's recent videos. Yes, his Cave hike one. There they found the missing hiker's cell phone. His vehicle was discovered several miles away. It does not mention the road. How disappointing. The road being called Jomay Road. Now, his phone and loose coins, which it doesn't even mention here, which is a failure, were found near to the mineshaft. Not within, but nearby. Okay? It doesn't specifically mention it here, which is disappointing. Dave Cummings. Interesting name. The commander of Red Rock Search and Rescue in Las Vegas commented on the find, stating, "We found his cell phone close to a very vertical old mineshaft, and we can't find another trail. It doesn't mean that he's down the mineshaft, but we have tracked him as far as we can. We have got our other crews coming in from the search areas." The trail had gone cold, the scent, then a user introducing herself as Veach's girlfriend, Sharon Pilgrim. Veach's girlfriend, that's incorrect. Ex-girlfriend, that's how it was. Left a comment on his Cave hike video. She explained that Veach had struggled with his mental health for years and may have ventured into the desert that day with the intention of dying by suicide, but no absolute proof or certainty of that, just a suggestion. But that simple suggestion seems to be enough to convince the masses of yes men, yes women out there, which is very disappointing. Now, what's mentioned here? I want you to know that I do not think Kenny had an accident. I believe he committed suicide. So you believe, but you don't fully know. He battled depression for many years and would not take medication or see a doctor, yet you did not cause any intervention considering you're a mental health professional. Instead, you told Kenny not to pull a Robin Williams on you. Yeah, very insensitive. He quit his job a little more than a year before he disappeared. The search for him was started within a couple of days of my call. A couple of days? A couple of days? That's 7 to 8 days. So clearly Sharon Pilgrim was lying here, because when you actually look at the date of when Kenny Veach was reported missing, it's a lot longer than what the girlfriend claims, and there is proof of it. Okay? Over 30 search and rescue team members searched 3 different times on foot. 1 helicopter flyby was done, and there was no trace of Kenny or any of his camping things. There we go. Could more have been done? Possibly. Had Kenny Veach died by suicide, or was something else at play? Theories surrounding Kenny Veach's fate. Oh, are we calling them theories now? We're not calling them conspiracies. That's a change of tone. Now, Kenny Veach's body has never been found. Yes, his body hasn't been found, so there's no proof of him dying. Okay? To this day, no one knows for sure what happened to him. Once again, you're assuming and associating everyone in the same boat as if we don't know what's happened, but some of us know more than others. This article, once again, failing to do research. Though a number of chilling theories have emerged. See, here's the thing. In certain areas, you might not even need theories because there's actual proof and evidence to suggest otherwise. Veach was often reckless on hikes. Was he, Sam? This was a man who claimed to play with rattlesnakes for fun. He regularly embarked on his multi-day desert journeys alone, exploring caves and abandoned mines in areas with little cell phone coverage. Service, you mean. He reportedly didn't carry a map or compass, and his food and water supplies were minimal. Yeah. Many have suggested that because of his recklessness, Veach might have gotten lost or injured and succumbed to dehydration or hypothermia at the cold traps. It's also conceivable that he had encountered a wild animal. The Mojave Desert is home to rattlesnakes, mountain lions, coyotes, and an encounter with one of them could have ended tragically. Maybe. So this article is backtracking on itself, considering what it mentioned earlier on, right? The bit about carrying a map, whilst he may have not carried it, he seemed to rely on it in his unreleased hike footage. More about that another day. Be on the lookout for that video. Now, Veach could have died of exposure, falling down a mineshaft, or being the victim of foul play. However, another theory suggests that the cave could be the entrance to a secret government facility. Veach had described the cave as being near Nellis Air Force Base and Area 51. What a load of rubbish. You can't say the cave is near to Nellis Air Force Base and Area 51 when they're many miles apart. You can say in between the two places, but to say near, you can't say the near when they're so far away. Damn. Some conspiracy theories believe he might have stumbled upon a government secrets and that his disappearance was an attempt to keep him quiet. Others have theorised that Kenny may have disappeared after an encounter with aliens. Now, when it comes to the alien theory, there's really no evidence to suggest that in terms of proof that he was abducted. There is footage out there which can suggest and highlight UFOs are within the area at different times, like Ewu Crew. But in terms of a direct link to Kenny, there's not much there, right? If there was like an unknown substance, some kind of strange unidentified object near to the mineshaft and Kenny Veach's personal items, you could say Kenny Veach had contact with aliens, but that wasn't the case. So, there you go. Then again, as his girlfriend suggested, Veach may have died by suicide. May have, not did, right? Pilgrim wrote on YouTube that she believes he had intentionally left his cell phone behind so that no one would track his whereabouts. Yeah, that really makes sense. Oh, I'm going out into the desert to end oneself, and I don't want anyone to find me, so I will leave my cell phone behind. But I'll take it with me so far into the desert where I'm going to die. I'll place it down here and then go on after and do what I need to do. Why not just leave the phone at home and never take it with you to begin with? Because by taking it with you so far into the desert, clearly highlights and acknowledges and hints that that is where you are roughly. And it acts as a starting point for search and rescue to look about. And there might come a time where, if that was really true, they may come across him. And that would be mission failed in the eyes of Kenny Veach. If you don't want to be found, don't take your phone with you to begin with on a hike. Right? As simple as. Anything else? Was it left cell phone? She also said, the girlfriend, he hadn't brought his camera with him on the hike to the end cave and had no intention of filming anything. Sharon Pilgrim says that, whilst at the same time in a different comment she mentioned how his other camera in his house was missing, so that was likely taken with him. Right? Contradictions, once again. Unfortunately, Kenny Veach's body has never been found, and no one has heard from him in 10 years. What a load of bollocks. Whether he was abducted by aliens or perished somewhere out in the Nevada desert, his disappearance remains a head-scratching mystery to this day. Well, I can scratch my head right now, and there is no dandruff, so it's very clear. That's kind of unrelated, that. But nevertheless, to say that no one has heard from Kenny in 10 years arguably is bollocks, because the sister-in-law, Susan Veach, had a direct phone call from Kenny. Now, unfortunately, it wasn't answered at the time, but contact was made by Kenny Veach's Facebook account, which could suggest and highlight Kenny's behind it because it's his own account, and made a call to Susan, sister-in-law, a form of contact made. So for this article to claim, once again, no one's heard, you're grouping everyone up into the same boat, which is incorrect. Now, what's going on here? After reading the tale of Kenny Veach, learn about Lauren Dumelow, who claimed she was being followed just a few days before she vanished. Next, find out. You know what? We don't need to focus on that right now. What we need to focus on is this piss-poor article, okay? Very disappointing. I've got to say, that is arguably one of the worst news articles and takes I have seen on the Kenny Veach case in a long time. It kind of groups everything together from all the past articles. Do you know, like when you bring the best out of yourself with the influence and inspiration of others, you take a little bit of this from that, a little bit of this from them, you mash it up all together to create the best combination. Well, yeah, this article did. For the wrong reasons. Disappointing. And, you know, some strangers out there may wonder, why am I talking in this tone of voice? Well, number one, I thought I would change it up every now and then because some people don't like my robotic voice. But more importantly, number two, the second most important reason, if not the most important reason, is when it comes to these news articles, to do research on the Kenny Veach case is more easier now than it was back then, and yet people still fail to do their research. They jump to the original, boring, regurgitated narrative and not the updated story in which the likes of some Veach-related family members have reached out and assisted along the way with their knowledge, okay? And my coverage, and other people's coverage, other people's hike footage. Look at Sean Hawlacker's. So like this article where they were talking about a cave out there, some government secret. None of these articles seem to highlight or credit Sean Hawlacker or SB Vega's adventures, analysis and investigation of the supposed covered up M cave, or the quote where Kenny Veach said, yeah, a place just like here. One of the most critical pieces in the case. For Kenny to drop a hint looks like kind of here on ground level. M caves in the background as he's walking past. Even if that wasn't truly the area, he was dropping hints, wasn't he? Key quotes, memorable lines, which we all remember, yet none of these articles ever acknowledge it. And it's still within the same video as what they're quoting in other areas, such as the start of the video. Really disappointing. And take in mind that on top of the case being more accessible and there's more research now, I've made nearly 400 videos and some of them are quite high profile. People should see them. Now, unless YouTube is screwing me over, or maybe people aren't just searching for the truth and answers, well, that's unfortunate. Not much I can do. It's very disheartening that with time I can do as much as I can and cover videos, and yet it still gets ignored by the majority of humans on this planet who wish to engage in this case. And people can say, well, you're not entitled to this or entitled to that. But from the outside perspective, if people are interested in the case, they want to learn, they want the latest news, they want the hard-breaking reality check, and never seen before footage, never seen before emails, never seen before text messages of Kenny Veach before he went missing, CCTV footage, phone call made later, tent and sword found out there, crystal skull documented in the mine shaft, all kinds of strange stuff going on, and none of these people do their research. And yet it's staring them in their faces, but they don't wish to click. Or they don't wish to search, but they claim to be interested in the case and want answers. You can't have it both ways from their perspective. You want to learn, you want to know answers, click these videos. Click Jeff Clark's videos, click Atari's videos, click SB Vega's adventure, etc. J Chuck, right? These are people that have covered the case. Physically, boots on ground, or digitally online with certain research. You want answers, they are here. Click, watch, look, listen, learn, right? Now, that's not me being aggressive in case anyone's wondering, but how many more times can it be said, right? It's like talking in some kind of cryonic chamber. No one hears, no one listens. And yes, regular viewers, it's good that people still stick around, but if you want to spread awareness, obviously more people need to hear about this, and it's not always the case. So it's very unfortunate that and disheartening. But nevertheless, hopefully those that did watch this found it somewhat interesting. And of course, there are more Kenny Veach videos to come. So be on the lookout for them. If you like this video, feel free to like the button on this video and share it to others so more people can learn about this. Because this news article, as bad as it was, I'm clearing up the BS as we go along, right? Because there is misinformation within these articles. So I always need to do an updated report on them and review. So with that being said, see you next time. Goodbye for now. Thanks for watching.